Okay, welcome. Good morning. I'm Mary Leslie. I'm president of the Los Angeles Business Council, and I'm here to welcome you this morning to the beautiful COSM. And I have Mayor Butts with me, who is going to do the official welcome as soon as I say a few words. I need to thank a few people. You are at the first of a series of forums on building the 2028 Games, Summer Games, for small business engagement and procurement opportunities. And today we're focusing on opportunities in construction and infrastructure. We'd like to thank our sponsors who supported the event today, Turner Construction, Lisk, and JP Morgan Chase. Let's give them a round of applause. And also, many of you have already visited the tables around the facility here. We want to thank our resource partners that are here, Lisk, PACE, City of LA Bureau of Contract Administration, LA County Department of Economic Opportunity, the Small Business Association, and Meriwether Williams, who all have tables today. We want to thank Mayor Butts for his leadership and for joining us this morning. And we want to thank the outstanding panel you're about to hear after Mayor Butts and I are done. We also want to thank the small businesses that are here. This is for you today. This is an opportunity for you to prepare if you already aren't completely ready to go, and also to make opportunities in accessing contracting opportunities that arise from infrastructure and construction over the next 2 years. The Los Angeles Business Council Institute, you see the signage here. Okay, we're a nonprofit C3, and then about 5 years ago, we decided to start this Compete for LA program because we saw what happened in London in 2012. In London in 2012, those Olympics awarded over 13,000 contracts totaling 2.6 billion pounds. Notably, 40% of those contracts went to London-based businesses and 3/4 were awarded to small and medium-sized enterprises. So we think that's quite an achievement. And we're very grateful to LA28, who's with us here today, who has made the commitment, the ambitious goal of committing to directing 75% of the contracts to businesses located in the LA region and 25% to small business. So exceeding these goals would be the real legacy of the Olympic Games, ensuring local economy thrives and the Games are successful all through LA County and the region. So again, the purpose of this event today is getting you ready to compete for the upcoming contract opportunities and to connect you to prime contractors and resources to help ensure that you're competitive. We will encourage you to speak to them to identify and figure out what you need to learn more about. And we're particularly excited about the LA County Department of Economic Opportunity, who will certify local or small business certifications. So if you get your paperwork ready, they can help you. So before we get to our panel, I have the distinguished honor of introducing Mayor James Butts of the City of Inglewood. James Butts, if you don't already know, is the 12th mayor of Inglewood, serving since 2011. The mayor has done outstanding work here. Look around you. He has ensured the revitalization of Inglewood sports and entertainment facilities at Hollywood Park, which includes the remodeling of the Forum, yay, construction of the SoFi Stadium and Intuit Dome, transforming the city into a major sports and entertainment hub. So we're very excited to have such an outstanding mayor with us today, so committed to the economic development of his city. Mayor Butts.
Thank you, Mary. I want to welcome you guys to Inglewood, and I want to tell you, though, of all the things that are built here, I love coming here because when you have trains and boats, look up here, coming past you while you're talking. Come on now. Trains and boats in the middle of the city of Inglewood. I love it. How many people are here? It's your first time here at COSM. Now, are you blown away or what? Wait till you go in and see the immersive reality. And this is one of my favorite venues of all that we've done. But my two favorite venues that opened were when the LA Philharmonic moved their youth orchestra program here 50 yards from City Hall, And the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles, 35,000 strong, left Marina Del Rey to come a quarter mile from City Hall. And what does that tell you? The brand of Inglewood has changed forever. I want to thank the LA Business Council Institute for hosting this important event that connects local businesses with real opportunities tied to major global events. Inglewood is definitely proud to be home to world-class sports and entertainment venues that will host the 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games, the FIFA World Cup in just a little bit, and Super Bowl 61 in 2027. It'll be our second Super Bowl in 5 years, the only place in the country that's ever happened. But what makes Inglewood different is not just what we're building, it's how we're building it. We've come from a city with a BBB- bond rating to AA+, from a 17.5% unemployment rate to 5%, the lowest unemployment rate for a minority-majority city in the state of California. From the beginning, we've made a deliberate commitment to ensure that local hiring and local business participation are at the center of every major project. Through the construction of SoFi, more than 1,200 jobs were created, with over 120 contractors and subcontractors awarded work, generating approximately $750 million in contracts for local businesses, with a high percentage local hire required. Similarly, the Intuit Dome project injected an estimated $200 million into the local economy, including $55 million in wages, with 30% of contracts going to minority and disadvantaged business enterprises. Now, those are the raw numbers, but there's another thing called the circulation value of money. That money just doesn't stay in the pockets of the people that earn it or the contractors that are paid. They buy materials, they buy things for their families, and so that money circulates around the county as a whole. As we look ahead to the LA 28 Olympic and Paralympic Games with commitments to 75% local business, hear that, 75% local business contracting and 25% small business participation, we see an even greater opportunity to expand economic inclusion and ensure that the benefits of these global events are felt right here in our community. This commitment extends beyond the venues. It's embedded in how we are investing in infrastructure and the long-term future of this city. The Inglewood Transit Connector is a transformational project that will not only move people efficiently between regional transit and our major destinations, but also create sustained economic opportunity. Through our Project Leila agreement, we're ensuring strong local hire provisions, workforce development pathways, and real access for Inglewood residents to participate in and benefit from this generational investment. I applaud that. At the same time, we're revitalizing downtown Inglewood, particularly along historic Market Street, with streetscape improvements, mobility enhancements, and targeted investments that support small businesses, improve walkability, and reinforce the cultural identity of our community. This is about creating a downtown that works for residents every day and not just during major events. We're focused on building not just for the Olympics, but for a lasting legacy, one that prioritizes economic opportunity, strengthens our local business ecosystem, and ensures that growth in Inglewood is inclusive and sustainable. Events like this are critical. They bring together prime contractors, subcontractors, and local businesses to make sure that opportunity is not just promised, but delivered. We always deliver in Inglewood. Inglewood's success is not accidental. It's the result of intentional leadership, strong partnerships, and a clear commitment to local hiring, small business participation, and community investment. As we prepare for what's ahead, our message is simple. We're ready, and we want our local businesses to be ready too. And finally, I want to send you away with, the only thing that's changed in Inglewood is everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Butts. I feel like we're going to be enormously successful thanks to people
Absolutely.
like you. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, it's now my honor to bring up the panel. Brittney is leading us. We have LA 28 with us today. We have AECOM, we have Turner, we have the City of Los Angeles and the County of Los Angeles. So this is a really good group of people that are very knowledgeable and will be very helpful. So I'm going to hand the mic to Brittney from Turner.
Thank you, Mary. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that welcome, and thank you, Mayor Butts, for being with us today. I just want to say thank you to the crowd for coming out today. This is an early Friday morning, and many of you were here bright and early at 8 a.m. as we were still setting up. I also want to say thank you to LABC and Mary and her team. This is a wonderful venue, and a lot of work happened behind the scenes to bring us all together here today. So thank you to everyone. And thank you to the panelists that agreed to be here today. I am going to introduce myself. My name is Brittney Parkinson. I am with Turner Construction here in LA and covering the Western region. And I'm going to ask the panelists to introduce themselves, please. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. We only have 3 people here? Good morning. My name is John Reamer. I am the Inspector of Public Works for the City of Los Angeles, the Director of the Bureau of Contract Administration. What does that mean? We're responsible for overseeing many of the contracts that happen in the City of Los Angeles from a compliance standpoint. We do certifications for the City of Los Angeles, as well as outreach and business development and preparation. So I am pleased to be here. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Leila Lee. I'm the Assistant Director at the LA County Department of Economic Opportunity, where I oversee the Business and Economic Development Branch. To translate, what that means is really, we are there to support businesses, especially those that are looking for procurement opportunities and looking to bid.
Good morning, everyone. Hello, sports fans. I'm a proud native of Inglewood, so good morning. Welcome to the City of Champions. Ciudad de Campones. I say that right? I'm Ken Billups. I lead the work for AECOM in the region around economic impact and social inclusivity. So we drive 4 key pillars. That's our business participation for XBE firms, our workforce development initiatives, our youth and education engagement to ensure that pipeline to find the next you, and also key stakeholder engagement, so helping to ensure that our businesses and organizations outside of the work that we do are part of the success. And I'll take a quick liberty to also introduce and say a quick hello to 3 key women in the audience. Robin Billups, raise your hand. She brought me into this world, but also into this business. Michelle Ballard, raise your hand. She introduced me to AECOM and the opportunity to help drive this important work. And Alexis Player, raise your hand. Alexis Player is a new mom and now works alongside me to drive the work with AECOM. So thank you so much. I'm a girl dad. Look forward to working with you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Erikk Aldridge. I serve as Vice President of Impact for LA 28, the organizing committee for the Olympic and Paralympic Games coming to Los Angeles in 2028. I've been with the organizing committee now for 4 years on this incredible journey. Can't believe it'll be 44 years in 2028 when the games come back to Los Angeles, and in particular, my hometown, Inglewood, California. And since we're doing mom shout outs, I have my work clothes in the car because when I leave here, I'm going to go to 11th Avenue in Arbor Vitae to go see my mom, myself born and raised here in Inglewood. My role at LA 28 is I oversee all of our impact commitments around economic empowerment and youth sports and our broader community engagements in communities such as Inglewood and across the venue footprints for the LA 28 Games. So looking forward to the conversation and the key components of how we drive impact now and ultimately create a legacy from the Games.
Thank you, panel, for those introductions. And you see we have a heavy-hitting panel today. So many of you may have seen index cards and pens on your seats. If you have a question that you would like to ask, please write it on the index card. And we have some team members that'll walk around and collect those, and we'll hold questions for the end of the conversation. Sound good? Thank you. So, Erikk, let's start with you. Mr. Butts shared with us the goals for small and local business participation with the games. Would you please expound upon that and share with us the importance of the engagement of local and small businesses to LA 28?
Yeah, absolutely, Brittney. So I wanted to just anchor this conversation in two critical targets and goals that we have. The 75% local goal for our spend for LA 28 and our 25% spend goal was really developed in consensus with a lot of key leaders across the region, including John Reamer and Leila, who for the last 2 years have worked closely with LA 28 to figure out how do we make sure that we have economic delivery for the games to our communities. So why is this 75% goal really important? If you compare our games to probably the two most applicable games in the past, Paris and London, their goals for local were defined by their country. Our 75% goal is defined by our region. So for the first time in games history, our goal of making sure that the impact is here in the region is something that we are extremely proud of, and I think we all should be very proud of that as well. So we are really anchored in that opportunity, and how do we drive that here? The 25% small business goal is really a nod to the recognition that we have to lean in and uplift these micro businesses and small businesses as a part of this opportunity. So we'll talk more, I think, throughout the session about how that happens and how that comes to life. But these are written commitments. You can go to la28.org and you can read the 75-page document on how we got here and what that actually means. But we are really proud of that and looking forward to driving those goals over the next couple of years.
Thank you for that. As a quick follow-up, when you say region, local represents the region, can you share with the audience what you mean and what's included in that region? It's not just LA, and that's important for everyone to know.
Yeah, so when we did our analysis, it was important to make sure that we were able to determine that we had enough businesses to deliver on the things that we need to plan and deliver the game. So the region is defined by the greater Los Angeles region, which is made up of Los Angeles County and 5 surrounding counties.
Awesome, thank you. So it's not excluding it, right? You don't have to have a business located here in LA County. You can be in the Inland Empire. You're really big on making sure that this is impacting not just LA, but everybody, right, in those surrounding areas. So I'm going to go to you, Ken, next. We know that AECOM has a rich history right here in this area. We've worked alongside each other. Can you share with the audience what AECOM's role is in LA 28?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And when I said good morning, sports fans, it's a fun kind of internal joke, but let me kind of give you the history of where this story began. AECOM joint venture to build SoFi Stadium with Turner Construction. And then we joint ventured with Turner Construction to also build Intuit Dome, but we also designed it as well. And so now we're the venues and infrastructure partner for the LA 28 games. So when I say good morning, sports fan, this has been our journey, but it's a vehicle to ensure that businesses, local and small, are part of the community, but part of our success. And so good morning to you, but I really want you to understand our journey, why we're doing the work that we do, what type of work we're doing, and the ways in which we do business. Our contract was not just venues and infrastructure. It began as helping the Olympic Committee, helping the LA 28 team understand how to stand up the games. So we did design, planning, engineering, program management, construction management to ensure that we had the right venues, but we were working very efficient on how we stand up the games. So the work that we do now is standing up all of the venues and infrastructure in and around the venues to ensure that every part of it, we lean into what's existing, but we also add the temporary overlay as part of that work. Now, what does that mean for you? We'll be working with the City of Los Angeles and others to provide those opportunities on the RAMP portal. But it's really important for you to understand how we do business, the pre-qualification requirements, and even businesses that we work with, companies that we work with, what are their requirements? So really doing the due diligence and understanding the ecosystem. But our work is specifically venues and infrastructure. So if you approach me and say, hey, I have an accounting business, we want to understand we do venues and infrastructure. And so I say that because the education of helping businesses understand what type of contract we have, what type of opportunities we have, and how we do business is so important. And so our contract is such that it leans into the 50-plus venues. We'll continue to update the room and update our key partners on how we do that, but it is a team sport. And so we're excited about the opportunity, but we also lean into the responsibility of ensuring that local and small businesses participate.
Thank you, Ken. So, as you know, AECOM has a rich history alongside Turner of having a positive economic impact on the cities in which we are building and also the people within those cities. So this is just carrying over into what is happening for LA 28. So I think AECOM is a great representative for LA 28 in doing this work right here. I want to move on to Leila. Would you be able to share with us what the county is doing to support small businesses and local businesses to not only get ready but to be able to bid on contract opportunities that are upcoming, and as Ken said, infrastructure and construction contracts, right? I always say to small businesses or any business, it's important to know your audience. No, don't approach us saying, well, you need me. Nobody needs you, right? But understand what their desires are and what they're looking for before you approach them. So you're making sure that your pitch is appropriate.
Yes, thank you for that question. So, I spoke to a lot of businesses that have gone through the process of trying to bid, trying to learn how to bid. And I always ask them, if you had one advice, what would it be for small businesses, And one thing they said, it's not that hard. And I carried that with me because in the beginning, everything is very overwhelming. And where the county and I think the city too fits in is providing that pathway. You're providing tools, resources, knowledge to help businesses understand, okay, how does that work? And it does mean sometimes that people bid a couple of times before they get their contract, but it's also a learning journey that we go through together. So in the county, we have a equity in county contracting initiative where the board passed this through. And the idea here is that we're going to make it easy, is the county's commitment to make it easier for businesses to do business with the county. That's specific to the county. However, it also goes, whatever we do, it also expands to supporting them getting contracts with the city, with LA 28, as well as other jurisdictions. And what does that mean to you? So we have a program, for instance, called Apex Accelerators. Apex Accelerators is a program funded by the federal government. And what we do, we provide one-on-one assistance. We help understand what this business is about. And then we also connect them to bid opportunities that are existing in our whole entire ecosystem. We're talking about federal contracts, state contracts, and other city contracts. We give them, providing them the knowledge necessary, the research necessary for them to understand, what's available. In addition to that, we also help them where we can on how to fill out the paperwork because we know it's overwhelming. And that's really the message. Whether you're very small or you're very large, it doesn't really matter because it's a learning process for everyone. And it just takes a couple of tries and learning and understanding the cut and paste situation, right? In a sense where you're learning what people are looking for. And what we hope to do too through this process, not only provide certifications so they can get access to other contracts, but also help them bid for LA 28 contracts.
Awesome, great. I'm glad you said that, right? To keep trying. Oftentimes, small businesses get discouraged and say, well, I tried, I didn't get the job, I didn't get the opportunity, I didn't win the bid. And it's like, well, I'm not going back. I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing, right? But I know some small businesses that are here in the audience that have said to me, no, Brittney, I have continued to try, and I finally got the opportunity, and now I'm showing up, and then I got to call back to bid another opportunity. So it's being consistent and knowing that you're not going to allow that discouragement to get you, because you might not get the first one and you might not want the first one, right? You might want to say, okay, that was a good shot, and now I know some things and I can approach the next time a little more mindful and a little more knowledgeable about what they're looking for and what I can provide. So with that, we're talking about opportunities. John, I'd like to ask you about RAMP LA and how RAMP LA is working with LA 28 and how our businesses can position themselves utilizing RAMP LA.
Thank you for the question. First of all, I'd love to know who I have before me, because you know a little bit about me. I'm curious, show of hands, how many of you are City of LA businesses? County of LA businesses? Fantastic. All right. So I'm going to get personal, and I'm just real. So hopefully I don't upset anybody, but I want you to bring from this what we want you to hopefully receive from this. First of all, this panel is an amazing panel. Each and every one of them, in their own respect, they want the best for you. With respect to RAMP LA, I like to refer to it as our electronic marketplace, our regional alliance marketplace for procurement, where LA 28 has graciously allowed that to be the venue where opportunities are posted. And it's important for you to know where to go to receive information. Ken referred to hello sports fans. I like to use the analogy of, if you're not in shape, you need to get in shape. And if you are in shape, you need to stay in shape. What does shape have to do with anything? I'm not necessarily talking about you need to run up here, although I live in Inglewood and I did walk up here and I enjoyed the walk. But shape speaks to a couple of things. First of all, you studying your environment. You making sure your home base is solid and strong. You have an attitude that is preparing you for what you're about to deal with. You have a plan in place, and preferably a plan in place. And then you make sure you take advantage of environments such as this. RAMP does that. RAMP is an environment where it gives you information for you to study. Because if you do not know what LA 28 is looking for and you show up, it's going to be an unpleasant experience. LA 28, let me make no mistake about it, they're looking for the best. Erikk may not say that because Erikk is nice and Erikk wants everyone to have an opportunity, but I'm here to tell you, I said I'm going to be real with you, LA 28 wants the best, and so you need to bring the best. We want to help you bring the best. Ken, Leila, we want to help you bring the best. But at the end of the day, you have to decide if you're going to get up and walk to Caso. You have to decide if you're going to do what it takes. RAMP does that. It fills you with information about what's available, not just with LA 28, but inside of the city of LA, the county of LA, many businesses in our region, so that you are able to be effective and successful in what you do.
Awesome. Thank you. I like to say stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's my stay in shape, but always be ready, right? Always on your toes, always ready to connect and meet people, and you never know what's going to happen. I met somebody today whom I had met years ago, and I said, oh yeah, my procurement manager is going to be here, and I see him in the back, and I'm going to introduce you today because we were just having a conversation and your business is appropriate for that, right? So it's about being prepared, having your capability statement, having your business cards handy, and not just, hey, okay, I'll shoot you a text or I'll send you an email, right? That makes a difference of that preparedness and that being the best, that LA 28, but everyone is looking for the best. Everyone wants the best, and everybody thinks they're the best. But we have to also look introspectively and be honest with ourselves about our businesses and about who we are. So with that, I'm going to follow up to RAMP LA. How do businesses position themselves on RAMP LA, and how often are opportunities posted on RAMP?
Well, let me ask you this. How many of you are registered on RAMP?
Oh, great.
So not
So we
everybody.
know.
That's a good start. That's a good start. But I want every hand to go up.
Yeah.
Everyone, if you're not registered on RAMP, you need to register on RAMP to make sure, and we have information tables in the back, we have people here to assist you with that. Don't leave here today without being registered on RAMP, because what LA 28 is doing, and many of our procurement partners, they're posting opportunities for you to see what is available for you to say, this is something that I want to compete for. And we're using the Olympics. The fact of the matter is, there are going to be standards, there are going to be expectations, and that's where you will get a chance to see, okay, what meet is this? What is the expected time that I need to run? What are they looking for from me? What do I need to bring to the table? As a business, what are they wanting me to offer with respect to my fitness and my capacity to deliver on the service that I provide? You're going to see that in the EOIs that are presented on RAMP, and it's a great opportunity for you to know what's there. So I encourage you, if you're not registered on RAMP, don't leave here today without getting registered.
Thank you for that. I think, Ken, you had touched on, and Erikk touched on micro and small businesses, right? Not just small businesses, but micro. And I want to talk about opportunities for those businesses. They may be first-tier contracts, but can you share what capacity looks like for micro businesses and what opportunities there might be for those businesses in this ecosystem?
Yes, absolutely. I'll bat first, get on base, and let Erikk bring me on home. I love
He can't
that.
help himself with the analogy.
I mean, welcome to the Brittney Parkinson show, though. They're doing a great job, and John and I are great. I mean, I love to hear the analogies because it helps connect. We can go back and forth on some awesome analogies, but in the sense of micro businesses, what are the opportunities? Again, RAMP is the initial portal, and that's not the only portal, but a good part of the value add that I bring to AECOM and John and Erikk and Leila is that we have to manage the expectations, the understanding of the ecosystem, where the opportunities are. RAMP is information. RAMP is how you get notifications about opportunities. But beyond that, for a micro business, you do your due diligence on not just the opportunity, but which firms are going to be the most competitive to get those opportunities. So that's where second-tier spin, third-tier spin happens. What is your knowledge of your lane, your scope of work, those that share your NAICS codes? What is your warm relationship with those that did the work at SoFi Stadium, Intuit Dome, in and around venues and infrastructure in the realm of sports and entertainment? What is your relationship with those that are doing the procurement, those that are doing the estimating to understand your business? And so for micro businesses, there can be a frustration because naturally you feel like you're not getting an opportunity, you're not getting a chance, or you're not getting an opportunity to really show how you can provide a solution. But the due diligence is understanding the ecosystem. The analogy for me and for us is that Little League Baseball, when you learn how to catch a fly ball, your inherent instinct is to rush towards the ball as soon as that ball is hit. And that's a natural entrepreneur. That's a natural person that runs business. You want to go straight to the opportunity because you're excited about it. They're talking about it all over the region. But what they teach you as a coach is your first step should be back. As soon as that ball is hit, don't run toward the ball, take a step back. When you take a step back, you understand the trajectory. You understand what's in front of you. You're more informed as to how to move forward. And for businesses alike, small especially, understand what's in front of you first before you drive in and try to promote yourself and market yourself to companies that might not align with what you do or how you get business. And so taking that first step back, we do that as AECOM. Understanding the scope, understanding how do we do business, and therefore we're a lot more informed and strategic on how we move forward. So for micro businesses especially, I see a lot of frustration, but there's an opportunity to take a step back and really understand, learn the ecosystem, make relationships, and be a lot more strategic and informed on, is RAMP my opportunity, and or is it a Turner Construction? Where does the contract lie? The contract lies with LA28. How do I align with and market myself to LA28? How do I align with and market myself to a Turner Construction that's doing the work in concert with AECOM and working towards how do I get my solution? And quite frankly, what is my goal towards getting the opportunity and or moving the needle a little bit more to become more familiar with the procurement process? We talk about legacy later on, but it's important to now say, I walked away from this process a little bit more informed and a stronger relationship than I had before I got here. So look forward to working with the whole world of businesses. Micro businesses are one in which I think there's a unique opportunity. And then internally, last thing I'll say, the value add that I have for AECOM is that I advocate, really my chair is turned this way to AECOM, advocating for prioritizing and ensuring that every part of AECOM embraces this commitment, not just the Ken Billups show and Alexis Player show. And so when I'm talking to them about opportunities, the more they embrace that and understand the ecosystem of local, small, micro businesses, it's more palatable for them to say, all right, well, maybe I have an opportunity here but we can be a lot more intentional about aligning opportunities and directing them towards something that, in the sense of an Olympic sport, using that analogy, we're inviting everybody to Game 7. It's like, say, raise your hand, I need you to jump right into the Super Bowl. And so it's important to understand your business and understand that you have the capacity and capability to jump right into Game 7 and do business, because it'll swallow you up. And so we're excited to prioritize local small and micro businesses, but we really want to make sure that this is what you're made for, and really have an opportunity to grow your business through this and with the games and beyond. Thank you. Yeah.
Erikk, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, this is going to be an easy run for us to score, because I think Ken's on third base now. So I think it's really important for everyone to understand in 827 days, and I know this because I have it on my phone and it's all across the offices.
It's shorter for AECOM. It's shorter for AECOM. We can't wait till the opening ceremony. Go ahead.
And so with that 827 days, we have a tight needle to thread in multiple areas, including construction and infrastructure. We recently released our procurement plan. Mary Leslie and LABC, big contributors to the development of that plan. There are 41 categories in addition to the subject today that are identified in that plan. I encourage everyone to familiarize themselves with those categories. That is your pathway to these opportunities. We can't state enough how important it is to be on ramp, to make sure that when you register, you have your company's NAICS codes attached to that, because you will get direct correspondence from the ramp portal every time LA28 posts something. This is the pathway. This is the pathway for all of your businesses. In addition to these direct opportunities, I do want to take a beat to just talk about the indirect opportunities related to planning and delivering the games. There are going to be 206 national organizing committees coming to our regions. Think of Team USA, think of every country that's bringing athletes. There are going to be a lot of sponsors and commercial partners, such as AECOM, such as Intuit, such as Deloitte, and many others that are going to be here in our region, throwing parties, having events, a lot of them. These are going to be opportunities for micro businesses. It is really important for all of you, again, to make sure you follow the pathway. We will communicate early and often using every possible platform to do so. We have identified that communication to everyone is probably one of the top barriers for businesses to get business. We are committed to that communication, to being here, to being there, and being everywhere we can be, prioritizing LA County and the city of LA in that outreach. So as things continue to develop, I want everyone to stay connected. We have our competition schedule. It's in place. We know where the venues are. We know where the sports competitions will take place. And I truly appreciate Brittney not asking me questions about ticketing today. Hot topic. But it's really important for everyone to stay informed and stay connected, because very similar to the ramp conversation, in 2022 and 23, we were saying things were coming on ramp. And you go to ramp, there was nothing there related to LA28. And as we sit here in 2026, there are close to a dozen opportunities that are on ramp. So the games were here, and now they're here. And there will be more opportunities. And the same thing with the indirect. We know they're coming. And as they get closer, there's going to be more fidelity and opportunity there. So stay connected.
Thank you for that. Ken, you talked about being ready for the LA28 games is like jumping into Game 7, right? Or going to the Super Bowl. But Leila, I want to bring you in here with the mayor mentioned there are so many other things happening in this area. We have the World Cup, we have the Super Bowl coming back, returning, right? How do we ensure that we're not preparing businesses just for one opportunity, but for lasting impact within this area beyond 28?
Yeah, if I may, I would like to piggyback on what everybody said. Yes, register today on Ramp LA, but no, don't let it be the only place you're registering. One thing that's really important, you cannot let LA 28 be the first contract that you are bidding for. If you're there, that's probably not for you. Does that make sense? It's like you would not hire somebody for your business that has no experience. So right now, there's tons of contracts available just for the type of business that you and services that you provide. So start looking, whether it be on Ramp LA, which, is a little bit competitive. Let's just be honest. It's LA City. It's, they have high standards, but there's a lot of different cities all over around you, right? There's several hospitals, universities, they're all procuring services. So think beyond that, build your capacity, have conversations with these departments as well as these other agencies, because you know what, there's contracts that they actually don't put out there. They're smaller contracts, especially if you're a micro business and you're talking about building capacity. I know in the city and the county, if it's under 25,000, there's other rules apply. You don't have to go through Ramp LA. So find out, have those conversations. Sometimes one of my really good friends, I asked him, how did you get so many contracts? And he started offering free services to the city of LA. And then, after a while, the city felt bad and they're like, hey, you're doing a really good job. We need to start paying you, So understand that sometimes we tell our kids, hey, maybe you need to intern for free. Maybe you need to just get a smaller job. But that you're building your resume. And so do that. And I'm sorry, what was your question?
No, just you're answering it, right? And obviously ensure that this is not the only thing that people are working towards, and this is a lasting impact.
100%. And one of the things that I want to remind you, these events, they're just like, let's just no issues here, but it's for 2 months. Right?
That's a
right?
fact.
Can I say that?
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
I think, look,
It's too
just real quick, Leila. So again, the reason why we work with LABC, the reason why we're working with John and working with the county is that our legacy in this space is about creating better systems for the future. LA 28, it will be the biggest games in the history of the movement. More athletes, more venues. It's going to be an incredible opportunity, but our role is to be a catalyst here.
Yes.
Because we do go away, and I will be sending my resume out to all you guys in 2029 looking for a job. So back to you, Leila.
Or you gonna send a little before so you can prep and be ready, so you're not getting ready in 2029.
I mean, we say internally that LA 28 is the carrot, of a long stick. Right? What John and I really want is, can I speak on behalf of you? But it's like for you to also get access to other contracts, because when you get contracts, you create jobs. And when you create jobs, we have a better local economy. That's our deep down, that's really our goal. So if LA 28 is a sexy carrot, let's go for it. Let's all help. We'll help you get there. But let's think through, because this is a 2-month ordeal, event, and you want your business to be a long journey. You want to build a successful business. So think through right now. Start bidding today for what's available already. Build a resume. What's really great about LA 28, they already started forecasting some of the services they're going to need on their website. So you can see where you fit in and start looking for contracts that fit that criteria. Start getting those small contracts. And guess what? By the time you are applying for LA 28, they're going to like, hey, this micro business, has sufficient experience to handle something like this. So that's what you want to build. And if I may say too, going back to what Ken was saying, do your research. At least in the county and the city, you can ask for the contracts. You can get access to the contracts that are already available and find out what they were looking for. So do your research and be prepared. And then I think doing that and building your business to become that, it's really important, because you can't continue to sell fish if nobody's buying fish, right? So figure out what they're buying and, change your business model if necessary.
Thank you. So sexy carrot, we're going with that, right? The games are the
A nice sexy carrot.
a nice sexy carrot. That's what the games are. But there is so much more before and after the games that we should be working toward. So with that, John, 5 years from now in 2031, what do we hope we can say the impact the game has had on, or the games have had in LA and the surrounding areas?
Erikk said it well, that LA 28 is a part of the conversation for our ecosystem. If not to be insulting, but if you don't know, because it's good to let people know, it's North America Industrial Classification System. You might say, they've been saying NAICS codes. What are they talking about? That's how we will always know what area you provide your services. After LA 28 is gone, the county and the city, we're looking for you to tell us your NAICS code so that we can let you know what's available. So it's good for you to know what that means. I'm gonna ask you, and you don't have to put your hands up, how many of you are certified businesses? Why do I ask that question? Because whether you realize it or not, the USA Olympic team, you have to be a USA citizen. You have to meet certain criteria. Not everybody will make the USA Olympic team. Well, we have local and small business requirements here for LA 28, but for the city and county. And we are serious about who we want to be part of that. And we check to see, are you local and are you small? Because guess what? There's some people that say they are and they're not. We've received, I'll give you a number, roughly 1,200 applications for local business, and we rejected roughly 60%. Why? Because they did not attach their application. They just sent in something. They didn't give us information we were looking for. They didn't sign the application. Are you kidding me? Are you serious, John? Absolutely, I'm serious.
And a lot of them aren't actually local either. Right?
Or they were not local. They were not local. So if the USA track and field have criteria, which they do, not everybody will compete in the Olympics unless you achieve a certain time. It's good for you to know. The question was, 5 years from now, what do we want? Every single one of you in here, if this is not a hobby and you are hungry, because the two are not the same. Some businesses, it's a hobby. If I do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't. But for those of you that are hungry, 5 years from now, we want you to be where you really want to go. Not just a step on the ladder, but you're moving toward that plateau. That's what we are envisioning, that what we still enjoy from LA 84, LA 28 far surpasses that in what we have created, which is this ecosystem that continues to give without us doing anything, because it has established a momentum that benefits everyone. And I'll leave you with this. Why are you here? And not just here today, but whatever business you have, why are you doing it? I hope it's not just to make money. I hope it's to make change. To change our city, to change our county, to change the greater LA region. I want to believe that's what LA 28 is doing. They want to make change, and each and every one of you have an opportunity to be partners in that.
Well, I wanted to ask another question, but that was a good way to pose that, right? Change. I think we have some audience questions that we're going to go to right now. But while we're waiting for that, I just want you to touch on, anybody on the panel, this is up for grabs, the importance of getting certified. So often, small businesses don't see the value or understand why they should get certified. So can anyone just shed some light?
Yeah. In the county of Los Angeles, as I was sharing, we have the equity in county contracting. And the idea here is, how can we give small business a leg up? And the city has something similar too. So if you're an LSB, which means local small business enterprise, and you're certified, that means that when you bid for contracts, you get a 15% preference. 15%, that's huge. That means that if we're only comparing prices, you're selling, goods, and somebody's telling us that they're selling at $100, your bid comes up at $85. But you still get paid $100. And that's a big deal, because then, you know what? Because you're cheaper, we're gonna have to go with you. And we just give that preference. Another thing that we do in the city, in the county of LA, we give a 15-day prompt payment if you're LSBE certified business. Because we know they need cash on hand for cash flow, right? And there's other things that we're also doing in terms of providing that leg up for small business. And by the way, we don't do that just for LSBE certified businesses. We also do that for disabled veteran certified businesses, as well as social equity, social enterprises, which is like the nonprofits.
Real quick, no shame in our game. The city of LA, we invest in our own. And you heard Mayor Butts say the same thing. We want to make sure that our local businesses, because our local businesses are also going to hire local workers. So there is a cascading benefit to utilizing and encouraging and, quite frankly, supporting local businesses. But we want to make sure that you're legitimate. There are going to be a number of businesses that come here for the LA 28 games that claim to be, and they are not, and they're taking your spot. So we want to make sure that they're legitimate, and the way we do that is we certify. We check to see, are you who you claim to be? And if you're not, we'll say, no, thank you.
Yeah, and if I can may also add, in the the federal level, there is a set aside just for small businesses. For state, they have a goal of 25% just for small businesses. The county also has a goal of 25% just for small businesses. So that means that we're taking action and commitments to ensure that we're giving contracts to those businesses only.
I want to do a quick underline on John asking, why are you here? For certifications, it should be the same questions. Why are you being certified? Why are you, your profile might fit local, small, women, diverse, whatever it may be in the alphabet soup, but it should be part of your strategy on why you're being certified, really looking at the dollars that fund the projects and the agencies or organizations that provide the opportunities. Your certification should be part of your strategy to say, I'm doing business with the city, or I'm doing business with LAWA, and they're the ones that prioritize this particular certification, and this is why I'm getting this certification, because it does take time. It does take management, but you need to understand that there should be a strategic plan behind that certification, and then how you market that is really the biggest part of the business, not just getting the certification. We always manage the expectations. Don't take away that you told me to get a certification, so now this is how I get business. That's just you being able to be certified and officially in the door, but it should be a strategic plan as to why you're getting certified. Does the state prioritize that? Are there state projects? Is there city projects? Is there county projects? What do they prioritize? And how does that allow you to be a little bit more invested in, or have an opportunity for opportunities that they provide and the firms that work with them? And so when I first make a local business or a women-owned business or whatever it may be, local, small, I'm thinking clients in my mind. Well, like when I look at a client, I'm looking at LAWA, I know real quick what they prioritize. City, what they prioritize, LA Metro, what they prioritize, and strategically how I engage with you. So therefore, your homework and your diligence is, what are the clients that we're working with? What are the certifications that LA 28, the city, county prioritize? Because if you go talking to John or Leila about LA County or LA City, and it's a certification that's not relevant, then not to say that that's the only way to do business, but it shows that you haven't done your homework and understand what they're prioritizing as part of their commitment to the city and the community.
Thank you for that. Erikk, did you want to jump in on that, or can I go to, okay, I'm going to go to audience questions. So the first question I have, and I'm going to put this to Ken and Erikk, are there new opportunities to participate in the design of new venues of infrastructure LA 28 projects, or are they already designed?
Majority of it is designed. To give you a quick understanding on how design works, we've been doing this for about 10 years now. And so it finally gets handed to the construction team when it's about, you jump in construction folks, when it's about 90% baked, I'll use the word baked as a term. But there are opportunities once we get into construction to iterate and to change the design. So there still are opportunities. Again, I'm finding opportunities always to maximize participation from local and small businesses. Oh. So anybody ever played Jenga? Raise your hand if you played Jenga. The design, it's another one of my analogies, John.
It's a good one. I like where it's going.
I'm looking at the venue design book, the VDB, if you guys want to have some, kind of bring you behind the curtain. We provide a 90% baked venue design book. And internally, when I turn my chair to my team and my design team, I'm poking at, well, what about this? Maybe this is where we can have small business. Well, what about this part? They say, oh, no, we can't change that. That's part of our, or, you know what, Ken, that might be an opportunity that we think we really can leverage and maximize opportunities. So I'm playing Jenga internally, but long way to say yes. There are opportunities, but I wanted to kind of educate you on what it looks like internally, how it works, because you have to be informed on where opportunities are follow our procurement schedule, and follow the opportunities as it relates to design, engineering, and construction. Yes, technically there still are opportunities. I'm working strategically internally to find out, are there ways in which we can prioritize and maximize opportunities for design, engineering, construction, and then I go externally to you to then vet you to see if you can meet that Game 7 capability. But yes, that's a long way to say, yes, technically there still are opportunities, and we will continue to promote that through RAMP and through our large businesses or other businesses that we work with, like Attorney Construction.
And to build on that, Ken, because I love that analogy, you notice when you play Jenga, when you move that piece that can be moved, the building gets taller.
Ooh, everybody do like this.
I can't with Ken.
Shout out to Town Building.
So to the second part of that was, are the opportunities going to be available on RAMP? So to whomever asked that question, the answer is yes.
Technically, RAMP design, maybe not.
Okay, so no.
RAMP will be a big pool. And then when we look under the hood and you see opportunities, so technically design might not be on RAMP because the design is finalized and we're moving forward. Design might be through our team and through other opportunities. So technically not through RAMP, but through our team and through some of our businesses is where I have some real special, if I can pull this off, some unique strategies that I want to talk with John and Leila about on how we can kind of get a design carve out, but it will not technically be through RAMP because that was our biggest task, is to provide the venue design book to LA28 and move forward on construction for the entire project.
I'm leaning, yeah. So that's to say that the RAMP is not the only place to find opportunities. Continue networking, continue being aware of what's happening, and working the market and connecting with other people. I'm going to go to the next question. What are the forecasted scopes of work that you feel will be procured in the next 6 months?
I have a list that I wrote down. I'll let Leila go while I pull out my notes.
I was going to say, you have a list already on your website, which is...
So there's two things. So one, we have a list of 41 categories, but they're not all specific to this audience. And so we can share that out to everyone. But I do want to make sure that we're thoughtful about who's in the audience as we think about venues, infrastructure. But before, while Ken pulls out his list, I do want to make sure that we're all anchored in a couple of things. One of the reasons why we were able to get the games in 2028 is because of the existing global state-of-the-art world-class facilities that we have. So a no-build games. In addition, it's critical for us to make sure that we have a sustainable games. And so what we're doing here in this space is really a tribute to that direction that we have as an organizing committee. And with the temporary builds, we're going to reuse those materials, and we have a goal and commitment in our impact and sustainability plan around 90% reuse of those materials for those temporary builds.
I'll give you the answer that you asked for, whomever wrote it, and then I'll give you the answer that I think you need. The answer that you asked for the next 6 months are the LA Memorial Coliseum temporary platform, the pools and temporary platforms at the stadium at Long Beach Aquatic Center, the BMX racing field of play, the skateboard street field of play, the climbing wall field of play, the velodrome track, and the Olympic diving tower. Those are the opportunities that are coming out in the next 6 months for us with AECOM. And so that kind of is very high level, and it goes over a lot of people's head, right? That's what we're going to put on RAMP in the next 6 months. That's the answer. The answer that I think you need is that strategically, engagement follows procurement. It follows opportunities. And so we have operations teams that's delivering on every part of our scope around venues and infrastructure. The way engagement worked for me and my value add, and me and Alexis, so Alexis helped me internally get this list because we're looking at this time clock leading up until 2028 or the top of 2028, and our engagement strategy follows that. The answer that you need is that understanding prior to these opportunities, which are the companies that are looking to go after the opportunities, and then understanding how does that unbundle, or what are the opportunities for me that's relevant to my business and my scope of work and what I can do. Can you build a velodrome track? If not, understanding what are the scopes of work that make that up, and maybe that's part of your homework, but it's really understanding what are the companies that do that work, and what does it take as a local and small business to help achieve that. We're on the clock to deliver an Olympic diving tower. Has anybody here built an Olympic diving tower? And that's not to say that you can't or can't be a part of it, but the answer you really want is understanding what does it take? Is it concrete? Is it overlay? Is it temporary? And what part of my services can be that, and what makes me a differentiator to deliver that? And what are my qualifications and capacities such that I can deliver in a Game 7 environment? Compliance, quick build, having the workforce, my work log, and all of that that's required. But I'll give you the answers. Our strategy is aligned with the procurement schedule and delivering, but our engagement to you is ensuring that you, in advance of RAMP, in advance of those opportunities, better understand how you fit into that puzzle. Thank you.
I got it, man.
Did anybody else want to chime in on that one? Okay, I'm going to go to the next question. Is the 25% small business target focused on businesses offering services, for example, janitorial, catering, etc., or will other products and services also be considered?
So the small business target are for those categories that we've identified. So food and beverage is a great example. The games will take place across many venues in the San Fernando Valley, in the Sepulveda Basin. We're going to do some build outs as it relates to the sport competitions that are taking place there. What we're doing, and we'll have a deep dive on this via a webinar in the upcoming months, on how we're going to unbundle food and beverage, how we're going to work with different operators on how to engage the local and small businesses to deliver food and beverage. Because we want the people that are coming to Los Angeles to really experience an authentic LA, and to do so, we have to bring in those restaurants, businesses, caterers, etc., who can do that. And so, to answer your question, yes, across many categories, small businesses will be included, and the unbundling will happen across those categories, including services as well.
So I'm going to skip to another question that directly asks about unbundling large contracts. So are there intentions for LA 28 to unbundle large contracts into smaller packages to ensure small contractors and businesses compete against their peers rather than being sidelined by major prime contractors?
So I'm going to I'm going to lean on Ken here, but I'm going to give the macro, and I'm going to let Ken give maybe more tangible example. So it's important for everyone to understand LA 28's process as it relates to primes and subcontracting, that we legally have written into our prime contractors and prime contractors to be that they operate and deliver on our targets and goals of 75-25 in their unbundling, as well as their contracts to small businesses. And so they are tasked with reporting out to the LA 28 procurement team on a monthly basis on how they're doing and tracking on reaching those goals. So that is written to those prime contracts in a legally binding way. And so we're going to be tracking that and making sure that that occurs, because quite frankly, we can't get to those goals and targets unless those prime contractors can deliver on those goals and targets. Was that a clap moment?
Give it up to, what was it, Sexy Carrot or something?
A nice sexy carrot.
I guess I'm Big Bunny or something like that. For unbundling or ensuring, I guess I would say unbundling is kind of synonymous with, or their first cousin would be like maximizing opportunities for local and small businesses. For us, it's three kind of key touch points to ensure that. And that's a big part of what Alexis and I do with AECOM. The first one is before RAMP. Really, we're trying to ensure that those that are fully capable are aware of RAMP and we have as many qualified firms in that process and a part of that shortlist as possible, or really qualified firms to bid on the work as possible, and then that shortlist to ensure that we have the maximum amount of capable firms, prioritizing local and small businesses. Our goal prior to that, the first touch point, is to ensure that as many local and small businesses are capable of work are in ramp. The second touch point is if you're not a local or small business, to maximize that and to kind of work towards unbundling, we have firms provide for us really a kind of a plan, a utilization plan that they have to show us how are you going to help achieve these goals? How are you going to work with us and inherit the commitment to local and small business and show us tangibly how, as part of your scope, as part of your intention to do business, you also will maximize opportunities and be creative and innovative on how you do that. The other touch point is accountability. Now that they said that they're going to do what they do, as we onboard them and now as we start rocking and rolling and doing business, the other part is as they continue to iterate and do business and build toward operations, how are there additional opportunities to unbundle or continue to market our local and small businesses to the delivery and the work that they do? So those are kind of the three touch points. Unbundling in itself, it varies. It depends. And so, again, when we're talking about Jenga, the scope of work that we provide for them or that they have to achieve sometimes is fixed, as in it's hard to carve out a piece related to the speed and cost and whatever it may be for that project or that scope. But for us, our value add is we continue to always look for, and our team trusts our opinion, trusts our priority, and work in ways in which we can work to unbundle or carve out or be creative on how we maximize opportunities.
So I'm going to go to the next question, and I'm going to stress brevity as we come to a close. And that's not targeted. See, Ms. Billups had to laugh, but what is the best route of positioning a local mid-sized manufacturing company that is further down the supply chain to be considered for opportunities with subcontractors?
That sounds personal. Somebody want to just raise their hand and do a commercial or something?
Or we could have a conversation on the side with whomever that might be, if you would.
Yeah, sure. Let's have a conversation on the side. I feel like that question is not necessarily for the room in general, but if you're saying down the road, I mean, I will look towards the legacy of the games. If you feel like you're not as confident to maybe have an opportunity for LA28, we talked about legacy. My last analogy, and I'll drop the mic or pass the mic. The unique thing and awesome thing about this is I've seen us convene way more than ever. John spoke to it. The tables are being built. The analogy that I use, and somebody talked about this, is anybody ever pulled off a last-minute party or hosted a party at their house or a birthday party? What happens is you start scrambling to get yours together, right? You're like, let me get my house together because people are coming over. LA is doing that in a good way. Now, what happens is when you do that, you take a step back and you look like, man, if I can just keep my house like this would be awesome.
Stay ready. So
now, my hope is that as LA is scrambling and pulling off the greatest games of all time, the legacy of it is that it stays like this. This becomes part of our culture. This becomes part of our DNA. It's not just for the games. And so for businesses that are eager to do business, but might not feel as confident to pull it off for LA28 or any other mega events, our hope and prayer, and for those committed to this work, is that it stays like this. Our house stays like this. And so our culture of doing business significantly advances beyond the game, such that now rep is even more powerful. Now businesses are a lot more certified and understanding of the ecosystem that it takes to do business. And therefore that local manufacturing company that in 2026 still had a few things they needed to do to get to that level of doing business at a city level or at a large major event level, they should be able to, by 2028, 2029, say that I've been listening, taking advantage of the resources, aligning myself with the technical assistance and boosting it around this venue, and then moving towards now being a better company and therefore a better LA. So that's my benediction.
Spiel. I got one more directed at AECOM. So this is gonna be the final two questions, and then we're gonna go to our close. What types of opportunities are available for partnering with stakeholder engagement consultants?
That's AECOM.
It specifically said AECOM.
If that's your work, let's talk after. I'll just give you it's a family reunion, right? So let's just give a family answer. Our work is a strong scope of work that's a lump sum. So the team that we have baked into that, for the most part, is already set. Stakeholder engagement is such that the work that I do is an extension of the work that Alexis and I are doing to ensure that the jurisdictions and organizations in and around our projects are part of our strategy and success. That team, for the most part, is set. That said, we'll continue to do business. It's a big part of what we do, and I'm looking to grow our resources and investment in that to help ensure that we're managing stakeholder engagement. So for AECOM, that team or resources or opportunity is particularly set. That's a more tailored question specific to a business or two that are here, but let's talk. We'll continue, and it might be opportunities beyond this and aside from LA28, but for LA28 specifically, our stakeholder engagement team is set, and there's not opportunities there, but that's the work that I do, and I know the landscape and marketplace in and around that, and would love to talk to you about that.
Final question from the audience. This was a continuation. Is there a mentor-mentee program for micro businesses? I'm going to take this moment for a shameless plug. Yesterday, Turner Construction, we had our Turner School of Construction Management graduation yesterday. It is a free 6-week program open to businesses that are in this area, and we primarily like to focus on construction businesses so we can show you how we've been able to be successful and how you can hopefully do work with us. I'm going to plug a few other programs because there are a ton in the city and around in the area. So NAMAC is in the room, and they have a program. Meriwether and Williams has a program. LA Metro has a program. LACCD has a program. I believe LAUSD has a program. Everybody has a program. You just have to find it. LAWA requires their prime contractors to have a program. So they exist. You just have to get out there in the market to find them. With that, I'm going to ask, thank you, audience. Thank you for being here and for the conversation. I'm going to ask the panelists one question, and I'm going to, again, stress brevity. So it is one word. What is one word that will define success in your mind for local and small businesses? I'll start. I'm going to say sustained, beyond LA28. Anybody?
Okay. My word is honesty on both sides. Honesty for those that have the procurement opportunities and honesty for those who may not receive one. You might say, what do you mean by that? Leave this knowing that we brought the best, and you know that, you know what, I was not the best, but I will not stop.
For me, piggybacking on what he said, I think if every business can grow through this process, I think that's what you should be aiming for.
I think I spoke to it as culture. I really hope that the culture in and around doing business continues to advance with the games, the mega events, and beyond. So I'm really excited to see that needle being moved and more convening happening to ensure that we maximize and support local, small, diverse businesses here in and around the region.
The word I would choose is compete. I think as we think about what this is, the power of sport, the Olympic and Paralympic Games, being in the venues in and around Inglewood, this is a competitive environment. And so I think it's important for everyone to, get to that place where they're ready and willing to compete if that's what they truly believe in.
Thank you. Give it up for our panelists. A huge thank you to LABC, to the team for making this happen today. Thank you to all of you for showing up on this Friday, and let's mingle for a little bit before we got to get out.